agriculture in relation to Indian context. Okay. As we all know, the Green Revolution has increased the food grain production by six-folds since 1950-51 with the adoption of high-yielding varieties, intensive input use, extensive tillage, and excess application of inputs. This intensive cultivation has led to the degradation of natural resources such as soil, water, vegetation, and our ecosystem. Okay. If you see the Indian scenario, out of 329 million hectare of total geographical area, 143 million hectare is under the total net cultivation. Okay, in that 78.54 million hectare falls under rainfed area, and 65.26 million hectare under the irrigated area. Okay, that rainfed area contributes nearly around 42% to the Indian food production, and the irrigated area which contributes to 58% to the Indian food production. If you see the degraded area, degradation and Indian context, according to National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning, the total degraded area is 185 million hectares. Okay, in that the water erosion is it is a major one, that is 149 million hectares, and wind erosion which contributes around 13.5 million hectares, which mainly prevails in the arid areas. Okay, and saline and alkaline areas where there is a low rainfall, the saline and alkaline areas were also in the 10 million hectares, and soil acidity where in the high rainfall areas this is the main problem there. Okay. If you see what are the problems which are associated with our conventional agriculture, okay, just we will highlight. First one is delayed planting. Because of the repeated cultivation in conventional agriculture, we'll do more tillage operations. Because of that, there is a delay in the planting time, and also reduction in the soil fertility and physical structure. Due to repeated tillage operations, there is a destruction of the soil structure. Okay, and increased erosion because of the less soil cover. There is erosion will be more, and a high labor and energy requirements. And in almost all, we are seeing in the Indo-Gangetic plains in rice wheat cropping systems, they are burning the crop residue. Okay, is also a major issue with the conventional agriculture. And because of this burning of the crop, there is a reduction in the biodiversity, and soil microflora and fauna get affected. Okay, burning also increase the greenhouse gas emissions, that is carbon dioxide. And also the conventional method of rice cultivation will also increase the methane emission, and the formation of compact subsoil layer because of the use of the heavy machinery. There is a compaction of the soil layer, and because of the continuous cropping and our conventional agricultural practices, there is a reduction in the soil organic carbon content, and also the outbreak of pest and diseases. Recently, we have noticed this fall armyworm in maize ecosystem, that is Spodoptera furzipada. And it is also the incidence also increasing year by year. Okay. Okay, then how to address or how to tackle these problems or the conventional agricultural problems? Okay, how to address these problems? One such option is that is conservation agriculture. Then what do you mean by this conservation agriculture? Okay, it is a resource-saving agricultural crop production that strives to achieve the acceptable profits with high and sustained production levels, and while concurrently conserving the environment. Okay, it is an eco-friendly management practice. This conservation agriculture has emerged as an alternative strategy for conserving the natural resources. If you see the extent of adoption of this conservation agriculture worldwide, okay, in world, the conservation agriculture is practiced in an area of 156 million hectares. USA tops, followed by Brazil, Argentina. When coming to Indian scenario, in the years, the adoption of zero tillage in mainly in that too in the Indo-Gangetic plains, that is rice wheat cropping system, it is gaining importance. And as per 2018 data, is around 21.5 lakh hectares. That is 2.15 million hectares area is under the zero tillage in India. Okay, then what are all the main principles behind this conservation agriculture? Okay, mainly conservation agriculture relate on the main three basic principle. First one is minimal soil disturbance. Okay, the tillage, the excess tillage has to be reduce. And the second one is permanent soil cover on the surface. Okay, there is a continuous permanent organic cover on the soil. And third one is diversified crop rotations. That is in case of annuals, or plant association in case of perennials. That is intercropping, sequential cropping with leguminous crops. Okay, that will break the pest and disease cycle, and also that will improve the soil. One is conservation tillage, zero or minimum tillage. Okay, or broad beds. Okay, raised beds planting. Okay. Cross application. Then what do you mean by this first one? Will is conservation tillage. Conservation tillage means any tillage operations that leaves 30% of the crop residue on the soil surface tillage. Okay. This conservation tillage will helps in the improvement of the physico-chemical and biological properties of the soil. Because of the retention of the residues, there will be improvement in the bulk density, improvement in the water holding capacity, and overall improvement in the soil physical properties. And also ultimately, there is a buildup of the carbon stock in the soil. Okay. Okay, we'll see some of the studies. Okay, the Partline co-workers in 2013, they have studied the average net carbon flux with changes in the tillage practices. Here, they have tested the conventional tillage and no tillage. Okay, here in conventional tillage, there is an emission of more carbon to the atmosphere as compared to no tillage. In no tillage, there is a sequestration of more carbon as compared to the conventional tillage, because in no tillage just we are incorporating the residues we have retained the residues on the soil surface that will help in the sequestration of the carbon in the soil. Okay. In another study, they have studied the effect of soil aggregation and water retention in the 0 to 5 centimeter soil layer in sandy loam soils. Okay, in maize wheat cropping system. Here they have taken three treatments, that is minimum tillage with residue, minimum tillage, and conventional tillage. Here, compared to conventional tillage, there is aggregation. The higher aggregates, higher favorable aggregates and soil water retention were noticed in the minimum tillage with residue incorporation as compared to conventional tillage, as incorporation of the residues will help in the buildup of the soil carbon and also improvement of the soil properties as compared to the conventional tillage practice. Okay. Here also in another study, they have incorporated glycidial loppings and also compost and also different nutrient management through urea and also chemical fertilizers. Here, the incorporation of 2 tons of glycidial loppings plus application of 20 kg N, that is as a T4 treatment, has noticed the higher fodder sorghum yield as compared to control. Here, the higher yield under the glycidial loppings is mainly attributed to as glycidial loppings are rich in nitrogen content, and application of the nitrogen will enhance the mineralization process. So thereby there is uptake, and thereby there is a higher uptake and availability of the nutrient that may lead to higher sorghum yield in the higher fodder sorghum yield. Okay. Okay, a group of workers conducted experiment on, that is, soil moisture status at sowing of wheat and water use efficiency under different tillage operations. Here also, they have compared with the conventional tillage and zero tillage. Here, compared to conventional tillage, the zero till plots as noticed the higher soil moisture status, higher water use efficiency, and also higher wheat yield, because the higher moisture is mainly attributed to the retention of the residues that will act as a mulch, and there will be a reduction in the evaporation from the soil, and there is an improvement in the water use efficiency of the wheat as compared to the conventional tillage practice. Here, they have also studied the beneficial arthropods, that is the various arthropods under tilled and non-tilled plots. Okay. Here we can see here the conventional tilled plots has noticed the lower beneficial insects, that is predators, parasitoids, and formicidae, beneficial insect population in the conventional till plot as compared to the non-tilled plots. Okay, in non-tilled plots, they have noticed the higher beneficial insect that to predators and parasitoids as compared to conventional tillage. Okay, in one of the study at Madhya Pradesh, they have studied the physico-chemical properties of the soil after harvest of the wheat as influenced by tillage practices. Here, they have taken three treatments, that is conventional tillage, minimum tillage, and zero tillage. Here, the zero tilled plots has noticed the higher organic carbon content and lower bulk density. The higher organic content and lower bulk density is mainly operation of the residues on the surface. There may be higher infiltration rate and compared to the conventional tillage system. And some of the researchers also estimated the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes in the soil. Here in zero-tilled plots, there is a higher beneficial bacteria and fungi and actinomycetes colony forming units as compared to the conventional tillage practice. And conducted down village and weed management practices and dry matter accumulation and weed control efficiency. Here, they have studied the different crop establishment methods, that is conventional tillage with no residue, conventional tillage with residue, direct zero tillage with no residue, and zero tillage with residue. Among the crop establishment methods, zero tillage with incorporation of the residues as noticed the lower incidence of the Polaris minor, Avena, Cynodon dactylan, and lower total weed dry weight and higher weed control efficiency as compared to the conventional tillage. Among the weed management practices, that is application of metsulfuron plus iodosulfuron at 30 days after sowing has resulted in the Avena fetua, Polaris minor, and lower total weed dry weight and higher weed control efficiency as compared to weed check. Okay, another important practice in conservation agriculture is that is crop residue management. It is the prime requirement for the conservation agriculture. As we all know, India, being an agriculture dominant country, produces more than 500 million tons of the crop residues annually. These residues are used as animal feed. Actually, farmers are using for animal feed, and some farmers they are using for thatching of their homes and the source of domestic and as an industrial fuel in large scale. Okay, and large portion of the unused crop residues are burnt in the field primarily to clear the leftover straw and stubbles after the harvest. Okay, due to non-availability of the labor and high cost of the residues, the removal from the field is increasing, and use of the combined harvester also the reason behind the burning of the crop residues in the field. And burning of the crop residues mainly causes the environmental pollution. It is hazardous to human health, and mainly it causes the global warming and results loss of plant nutrients, mainly the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. Therefore, there is appropriate management of crop residues assumes a greater significance in conservation agriculture. Okay, we will see some of the studies with the crop residue management here. Pradhan and co-workers, they have studied at IRI New Delhi the effect of varying tillage and crop residue management practices on yield and total phosphorus uptake on different kharif crops, that is wheat-based cropping system. Here, the conventional tillage with residue incorporation has recorded the higher yield of the maize, pigeon pea, soybean, and groundnut cotton as compared to conventional tillage without residue incorporation. Here, incorporation of the residue helps in the higher availability and uptake of the nutrients that may result in the higher yield of the following crops. Here, with respect to the nutrient uptake, higher the phosphorus uptake has been noticed in the conventional zero tillage with residue incorporation, because the incorporation of the residues, after incorporation there will be a release of the organic acids that may helps in the solubility of the solubilization of the soil phosphorus, that may helps in increasing the phosphorus uptake as compared to conventional tillage without residue incorporation practice. Okay, in another study, they have studied the different mulching practices. They have tried a different. First, they have tried different. They have taken different tillage treatment: conventional tillage, zero tillage, raised beds, and readjustment furrow. Here, they have taken two treatments within the mulch: no mulch and paddy straw mulch. Here, zero tillage with paddy straw mulch has noticed the higher has recorded the higher carbon stock and higher cumulative carbon stock as compared to the conventional tillage with no mulching. Okay, the higher carbon stock is mainly attributed to the higher incorporation of the residues. After incorporation, there will be decomposition and also the higher availability and uptake. So thereby there is an increase in the carbon stock as compared to the conventional tillage and no mulch treatment. Okay, in another study, okay, they have studied the gravimetric soil water content in wheat at 40 days after sowing as influenced by straw retention. Just they have incorporated the paddy straw at different nitrogen levels. Okay, they have taken the permanent rice beds. Here, the 100% straw retention has noticed the higher gravimetric soil water content as compared to no straw retention and also 50% straw retention. Okay, in another study, they have studied the long-term effect of land management treatments on crop yield and sustainable yield index. Here, in conventional tillage and minimum tillage, they have taken three residue incorporations: sorghum stover, Glycidia lopings, and no residue. Okay, here the Glycidia lopings has recorded the higher sorghum yield, castor yield, and sustainable yield index as compared to sorghum stover. As these Glycidia lopings are rich in nitrogen content and narrow CN ratio that enhance the mineralization process, that may lead to higher sustainable sorghum yield and castor yield as compared to stover is having the wider CN ratio. There will be temporary immobilization of the nutrients that may result in the lower yield as compared to the Glycidia lopings. Okay. Another important technology in the conservation agriculture is bed planting. What they will do is just they will raise the beds of around 50 to 60 centimeters. They will plant the crops in the raised bed. So this raised bed planting will help in the improved nutrient use efficiency, higher watering nutrient uptake, and there will be a better aeration to the crops as compared to the normal or flat bed planting. Here also, in one of the study in Uttar Pradesh, they have studied the effect of planting methods and nitrogen dose on grain yield, agronomic efficiency of nitrogen, and benefit cost ratio of wheat. Here, they have taken two. One is flat planting and raised bed planting. Here, bed planting with application of 120 kg nitrogen has noticed the higher grain yield as compared to the flat bed planting, because the raised bed planting there will be a higher nutrient use efficiency and higher water use efficiency as compared to flat bed planting, that may attributed to the higher grain yield as compared to flat bed planting. Okay, in another study, they have studied the effect of tillage practices and on yield and yield attributing parameters of maize under different tillage methods for 2-year study. Here, raised bed has noticed the higher plant stand, plant height, cob number, dry weight, and also yield as compared to conventional tillage. As I told you, the raised bed practice will help in the better uptake and availability of the nutrients and higher nutrient use efficiency and higher water use efficiency, that may lead to the higher yield and yield attributing parameters as compared to conventional tillage. Okay, the in raised bed and permanent raised bed technique, there will be higher organic carbon content as compared to the conventional tillage, because of the higher retention of the residues or higher microbial activity. There may be the higher organic carbon content as compared to the conventional tillage practice. Okay, in one of the study at Haryana, okay, they have yield and water productivity of wheat under different crop establishment techniques. Here, they have compared zero tillage and bed planting with the conventional tillage practice. Okay, here Compared to the conventional and compared to conventional practice, zero tillage and blade planting has recorded the higher wheat yield, water productivity as compared to the conventional practice. The higher water productivity in zero tillage and bed planting mainly attributed to the residue retention will act as a surface cover. Thereby, there is a reduction in the evaporation status of the soil, and also there is a higher yield due to the higher organic carbon content that may lead to the higher yield in the wheat-based cropping system. Okay, another important strategy in this conservation agriculture is that is crop diversification. Okay, it is a crop diversification is a shift from one crop or cropping cycle to another crop or cropping system. Here, use of the resources in best possible way by changing and modifying the degree and trend time options for crop and cropping activities. It is a shift from less profitable cropping systems to more profitable and sustainable cropping system. It has become an important option to attain several objectives: natural resource sustainability, ecological balance, output growth, risk coverage, and reducing the magnitude of risk due to the monocropping. In monocropping, there will be a more outbreak of pest and diseases as compared to the mixed cropping or intercropping system. Okay, here they have studied the advantage of this crop diversification. In one of the study, okay, they have studied at Punjab. Okay, the effect of different planting methods on productivity and profitability of cotton wheat cropping system. Here, they have taken 3 different treatments. First one is zero-tilled cotton, followed by relay seeding of wheat in standing cotton after third picking using the self-propelled relay seeder without prior tillage. And second one is conventional tilled cotton, followed by relay seeding of wheat. And the third one is conventional tilled cotton, followed by conventional tillage wheat. Here, the conventional tilled cotton followed by relay seeding of the wheat has noticed the higher seed cotton yield, wheat yield, system productivity, and net returns as compared to the conventional practice, that is conventional tillage, conventional tilled cotton and conventional tilled wheat. Because in relay seeding, the utilization of the efficient utilization of the resources will be possible, and efficient utilization of the all the soil moisture and all the nutrients will be possible in relay cropping system. That may lead to the higher wheat yield and system productivity as compared to the conventional tillage practice. Okay, in another study, they have studied the effect of different crop sequence on grain yield, straw yield, and harvest index of rice. Here, they have taken different cropping sequence. First one is rice, followed by wheat is the predominant cropping systems in the IGPs, Indo-Gangetic Plain. Here, the diversification of this cropping system, that is rice followed by wheat, followed by Susbania, rice followed by wheat, followed by any leguminous crop, will have the beneficial effect on the soil status, and also there is an improvement in the grain yield of the cropping system, that is higher grain yield, straw yield, and harvest index has been noticed as compared to the conventional practice, that is rice wheat cropping system. Okay, in another study at Raipur, they have studied the influence of cereal legume cereal, and cereal sequence on productivity and economics and soil fertility status. Here, they have diversified this rice wheat or cropping system through the cereal based and pulse based cereal based, pulse based, and oil seed based cropping system. Here, the leguminous inclusion of the leguminous cropping systems in the leguminous cropping system will have advantage. Here, the rice followed by wheat followed by green manure system has noticed a higher total productivity, net returns, and also the higher available soil nutrient status as compared to the conventional rice wheat cropping system. The higher nutrient uptake or higher available nutrient status mainly attributed to as legumes having the advantage in improving the soil fertility. They will fix atmospheric nitrogen that will have a beneficial effect in improving the soil fertility. Okay, in another study conducted by Gangwar and co-workers at Kanpur, okay, they have studied that the influence of various intercropping systems on wilt incidence and grain yield of chickpea. Here, they have tried, first one is that is sole chickpea, and another one is chickpea intercropped with mustard, that is 4:1 row proportion, and another one is chickpea intercropped with linseed 4:1 proportion, chickpea and wheat. Okay, here the percent wilt incidence. Chickpea is the major chickpea. The wilt is the major disease problem. Okay, for this they have tried the different intercropping combinations. The chickpea intercropped with linseed. Okay, 2:1 ratio has noticed the lower percent wilt incidence and also higher yield, because the linseed root exudates will secrete some of the phenolic compounds that are having the fungistatic property that may reduce the wilt incidence in chickpea as compared to the sole cropping of the chickpea. Okay, in one of the study conducted at Raichur, they have studied the wilt incidence in sole and sorghum intercropped pigeon pea grown in alfie soils. Okay, here pigeon pea has noticed the lower wilt incidence as compared to sole pigeon pea. We can see here they have these different colony forming units. Just they have intercropped with the sole pigeon pea and sorghum intercropped pigeon pea. Here, the sorghum intercropped pigeon pea has noticed the lower wilt incidence, because the sorghum intercropped pigeon pea, the sorghum in this system, the sorghum root exudates will produce some of the root exudate produce the cyanogenic hydrocyanic acid that will have the fungistatic property that will reduce the sorghum wilt incidence in the pigeon pea as compared to the sole cropping. And another important practice in this conservation agriculture is brown manuring. Here, what they will do is, then it is here both rice and suspenia are sown together and allowed to grow for about 25 to 30 days. And rice will be sown in the lines with seed drill, and suspenia is broadcasted on the moist soil. Okay, and the suspenia plants are knocked down with the 240 at 0.25 to 0.5 kg or vice verified sodium, popularly called nominee gold, at the rate of 20 to 25 gram per hectare. After killing, the color of the suspenia residue becomes brown. So that is why it is called brown manuring. Brown manuring it is the main part, one of the main strategy for weed management in this direct seed rice. Okay, it boosts the soil nitrogen status while conserving the moisture for the next crop. Okay, the brown manuring is become the advanced weed management strategy, as I told you earlier, as well as no-till version for the green manuring using non-selective herbicides. It aims at suppression of the weeds by its shade. Unlike green manuring, brown manuring mainly impacts positively on the soil organic matter, and that will improve the soil physicochemical properties and also associated microbes. And this brown manuring helps in the retain the soil structure and also the surface cover. This can be achieved by raising the green manure crops such as Suspenia, Sanem. The intercrop are killing the same by the application of post-emergent herbicides. Here, in one of the study conducted at West Bengal, they have studied the effect of brown manuring on the dry weight of grasses, sedges, and broadleaf weeds and weed control efficiency, weed index in dry direct seeded kharif rice. Here, the application of butachlor plus brown manuring with 240 has noticed the lower weed dry weight of the grasses, sedges, and higher weed control efficiency as compared to the season-long weedy condition. Here they have also studied the higher grain yield, soil yield, nutrient use efficiency, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium use efficiency, higher net returns, and benefit cost ratio has been recorded in the application of butachlor followed by brown manuring with the 240 as compared to the farmers practice. Here also in TNU, they have studied the effect of brown manuring on weed density and yield and economics. Here, that is application of allachlor at the rate of 1 kg active ingredient per hectare as a pre-emergence, plus brown manuring has noticed the lower weed density, higher weed control efficiency, and higher grain yield and benefit cost ratio as compared to the unweeded chickpea. And mechanization is also important part in the conservation agriculture. Okay, this reduced tillage and direct seeding with appropriate machines that will reduce the cost and labor, and also the fuel, and also the okay, this machinery will increase the opportunity for crop diversification and also better response for the market opportunities. This mechanical weeding practices in agricultural operations in dryland crops that may need more labors. Okay, that will also reduce by using the mechanization. This mechanical placement of the fertilizers and also the below the soil surface, that will improve the nutrient fertilizer efficiency and reduce the seed requirement. And this mechanization overall, it will improve the crop yield. Okay, another important technique is that is laser land leveling technology. Okay, here the laser land leveling is a precursor technology for adopting conservation agriculture practice, that is zero for adoption of this zero tillage and bed planting. This was introduced first time in India at farm level in western Uttar Pradesh in 2001. Okay, it alters the constant slope of about 0 to 0.2% using laser equipped drag bucket. It provides an accurate and smooth graded fields on irrigation water reaches the tile end in a very less time. It will improve the water use efficiency and also saving of the irrigation water up to 20%. Okay, and also there will be improvement in the nutrient use efficiency. Here in Meerut, they have studied the rice wheat yield and its components as affected by laser land leveling and traditional leveling techniques. Here, compared to traditional land leveling, the laser land leveling technology has noticed a higher number of productive tillers, grains per spike, 1,000 grain weight, grain yield, and water productivity as compared to conventional or traditional leveling. Here, in laser leveling, land leveling, there will be higher water use efficiency and also the higher nutrient use efficiency and higher uptake and availability of the nutrient as compared to the conventional practice. Though thereby there is an increase in the productive tillers and grain yield as compared to the traditional land leveling practice. Okay, they have also calculated the energy requirement. Okay, in they have also calculated the energy and economics of laser land leveling and traditional leveling techniques. Here, laser land leveling technology has recorded the higher benefit cost ratio as compared to the traditional land leveling because of the less energy requirement, higher grain yield, higher grain and higher gross income as compared to the traditional land leveling practice. These are all some of the advantages of laser land leveling technology, that is increasing the water application efficiency up to 50% and reduces the amount of water required for the land preparation. Okay, hence there is a saving of the energy and also electricity, better crop stand due to uniform application of the fertilizers, less area under the bunds and reserves. Okay, totally it is automatic. Okay, and also the improves the water coverage. There will be less time for the irrigation, reduces the weed problems, improves uniform crop maturity because of the uniform water application, reduction in the time and water required to irrigate the field, more distribution of the water in the field. Some of the limitations are that is high cost of the equipment, that is laser instrument, need skilled operator to adjust these laser settings, and less efficient in irregular and small size fields. Okay, another important technology in this conservation agriculture is that is herbicide. It is one of the unique technique in which it is used for the sowing of the wheat without burning any rice residue. This technology is eco-friendly with the environment for health of the soil as well as to save the water. It will reduce the Polaris minor incidence in the wheat. Okay, here they have studied the weed count and grain yield of wheat in herbicide and conventional method of sowing. Here in Punjab, they have studied in a participatory mode. They have taken this study. Okay, at different locations. Here, the herbicide sown wheat has noticed the lower incidence of Polaris minor or weed count per meter square as compared to the conventional practice. The in zero till drill and also strip till drill, the zero till planted wheat will notice the lower cost of cultivation as compared to the conventional practice. Okay. Here they also study the average saving of the resources under resource conservation technologies compared to conventional sowing. Here there will be a saving of the time, fuel, labor, and cost, energy in the this conservation technologies compared to our conventional practices. Okay, they have also compared the conventional and direct seeded methods of rice cultivation also. In a traditional method of rice cultivation, that is transplanting, there will be a more labor requirement, and also there is a the yield also somewhat lesser as compared to the direct seeded, and also the cost of raising the nursery will be more, and seed rate is also higher, and the total cost of cultivation is higher under the traditional method as compared to direct, and benefit cost ratio will be more in the direct seeded as compared to the traditional method of rice cultivation. These are all the some of the instruments that are used in this conservation agriculture practice. There are different types of drills for seeding the into the loose residues. That is rotary disc drill, star wheel or punch planter, double disc drill, happy seeder. Okay, there are different types of happy seeder. Okay. Okay, these are all the machineries for different purpose. There is transplanting and harvesting of the residues, spraying. Okay, planting using the job planter, animal traction planter, zero till seed drill. These implements have been developed from the CIMIT, that is International Institute for Maize and Wheat Improvement. Okay, thrash mulching in sugarcane with the rotavator for thrash incorporation. This is a laser land leveler. Paddy transplanter and direct seeding of the rice. Okay, another important strategy we need is that is breeding of the screening of the crops for the conservation agriculture. It is also one of the prime requirement. Okay, HDCSW18 is the first wheat variety of the country that is arguably in the world specifically bred for conservation agriculture. Okay, it gives an average grain yield of 6.2 tons per hectare under conservation agriculture. Okay, it possesses tolerance to high temperature at seedling stage and resistance to brown rust. Okay, with all this, some of the main constraints of this adoption of this conservation agriculture are there is lack of appropriate seeders, especially for small and medium scale farmers. And another thing is that is widespread use of this crop residues as a livestock feed and also as a fuel. That is the main constraint. And burning of the crop residues we have seen mainly in the IGPs, that is Indo-Gangetic plains in rice cropping systems. Lack of awareness about the potential of this conservation agricultural practices. Okay, rigid mindset of the extension or scientist and extension worker, and also the lack of government policies in the proper risk management. These are all some of the main constraints for this adoption of this conservation agriculture. Okay, with all this, I would like to conclude my topic. That is, conservation agriculture is a new paradigm for agriculture research and development, and it is environmentally and sustainable, and offers an opportunity for arresting and reversing the downward spiral of resource degradation. This conservation agriculture helps to improve the organic carbon stock, biological activity, above and below ground biodiversity, and also the overall soil physicochemical structure. And this physical properties of the soil, that is infiltration rate, hydraulic conductivity, thermal conductivity, moisture holding, that will be improved in the conservation agricultural practice as compared to our conventional agricultural practice. Okay, that may lead to the overall improvement in the soil plant atmospheric continuum, and it requires knowledge and thorough understanding of the and proper channel to spread the conservation agriculture technology, and requires financial backup and government effort to strengthen this conservation agricultural practice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Participants, if you have any questions, please ask.